Okay, it's a long way back that I entered psychiatry more than 3 decades ago. I was lucky to be trained in a very good institution at Christian Medical College in Vellore, which was very balanced in its outlook. So we had training not just in the biological aspects, but both social, psychological. So it was quite comprehensive, broad-based training. So, what we are accused of most often is of just being biomedical psychiatrists, just writing pills for every possible ailment. And of course, that is a criticism which is justified. And that has turned out over the years to be the biggest limitation of our attempts to help people with what we call mental illnesses. It's not about people coming back to you really. See, the first thing is that in medicine, our training is such that it is always in the acute medical model. So you have an infection, you get antibiotics and you get better. When you start working as a doctor, you realize that most of the conditions do not fit into that acute medical model. Most we are dealing with chronic conditions for which the possibility of complete elimination of the problem is not there. So it's really about helping people to live the best possible lives despite their conditions. Now the problem is that that model that you have to, there are conditions that you have to live with and make the best of it, is not easily accepted by most people, which is why there are people still looking for magic cures for asthma or diabetes, because what modern medicine offers is you take anti-diabetic medication, you have your regular blood tests for the rest of your life. People are not happy with that message, so you go looking for magical cures. Same thing in mental disorders as well. People are willing to come to you, but are disappointed with the possibility that they might have to be on medications for the long term. The second is that even if they are willing to accept that, you realize that some things get better with medications, but people are left with a lot of problems. And also the medicines produce a lot of side effects. So the only kind of medical tools at your disposal, i.e. medications, are imperfect. And when you get into that field, you realize that it's again very complex. So bringing people to large institutions and then training them to make candles, for example, you realize is not really rehabilitation. So then you start looking at issues beyond the relationships in the family, what's happening in the society. Where does this person come from? What's the situation in the family? And because we look after or deal with only people who are extremely poor. So we are looking at the lowest strata of population socioeconomically. And then you realize that actually mental illness is only just one of the problems that they face. There's poverty, there's issues with cramped living conditions, basic water, sanitation, education, other illness, multiple people in the same family with sometimes both mental as well as physical illnesses. And people are really kind of struggling. And imagine just giving pills to these people. Grossly inadequate. That has got to be dealt with. And all that, so all that leads to the concept of community development. So mental health or mental health problems, mental illnesses, just becomes the reason for you to be able to get into their lives. But the whole idea is that it is these social inequalities that have to be set right. So in other words, it's a view of mental health care firmly based on social justice. It's been great. As a psychiatrist, I'm in a tiny minority and it's quite amusing that people take entrenched positions. As it's not often that I'm in a conference where I'm the enemy. So it's quite amusing. Of course, those are historical stances that have developed in particular histories. Our history may not be so antagonistic, and we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that we're still grappling with huge lack of resources, and so our issues are different. But it is very interesting to. This is the first conference, that INTAR conference, that I've been let in. So it's quite interesting, the stance that people take, and for me, that's not an issue, But what I take away a lot, because the overriding message is of the immense contribution that the peer support movement has to offer, and it's how to modify that, because I'm a user myself, so I quite understand many of the issues. So like I keep saying, there was a time when my late father was struggling towards his end with dementia, and I was his carer. So I had a unique vantage point or three vantage points combined together: that of a carer, that of someone struggling with own mental health issues, and my day job as a psychiatrist. And that convinced me that, look, these are roles. My father is no more, and I don't have a carer role at the moment. That's all I can say. At the moment, I'm not struggling with my own issues. So at the moment, it's only one role, but it could be two, it could be three. It could be, I could stop functioning as a psychiatrist and be completely submerged by my own problems. Who knows? So these are not, antagonistic positions. You don't expect your psychiatrist, to be having the same issues as you, and you begin to wonder, is this guy capable of helping me if he has his own problems? But people get over that, and it goes one tiny step towards normalizing human distress, which is essentially what psychiatric problems are.